Hi, I'm Dan-Kristiansen, and I'm your state representative here in the 39th District. And I'm here to give you kind of an update as to what's going on here early in the session this year. We just had probably the biggest vote so far, and it was one of those votes that a lot of people don't hear about, and it's related to what we refer to as the rules of the House. In other words, what rules are we going to abide by over the course of the rest of the session? And there's a couple of key issues that I think that you should be aware of that were part of our rules that we voted on actually last week that I think impact the public heavily. As you may recall, in the last election that we had just this last November, overwhelmingly, nearly 2/3 of the public in Washington state voted for a 2/3 majority on any taxes that were going to be coming before us as a legislature. This is the 5th time in 20 years that you as the public, and myself included, have voted for this, and we thought that it would be important for us as legislators to abide by that. So what we decided to do last Friday was run an amendment to the rules that states and stipulates that we as the legislature are going to follow the will of the people, and we are going to require ourselves a 2/3 vote to pass any taxes to make sure that any tax increases, especially in lieu of the fact that we're still super high unemployment, we've got deficits to deal with and whatnot. Let's make sure that we're not taking more of your money away from you and that it's truly going to be a necessity for us to do this. Sorry to say it didn't pass. It was defeated party line. Democrats voted against it, Republicans voted for it, and it did not pass. That was a difficult one for us because that particular measure, unbeknownst to most people, actually passed in all of the 39 counties in Washington state, and 44 of the 49 legislative districts in Washington state, the voters approved it. Sorry to say that's not going to happen this time around. We'll keep working on that one. But another issue that I think is also important, especially for myself, I ran a bill down here in Washington state back in 2006 and have run it every year since. It's called Fund Education First. Education is the one thing that it actually talks about in our state constitution that we must be providing amply for. However, we have not properly defined it. We've never truly identified or defined in statute what is basic education. Are we supposed to just be paying for kindergarten through 12th grade? To what extent are we supposed to pay for those things? And so the bill, what it does is it actually defines basic education, and then what we do is we create a separate budget, just like we do with the transportation budget, where we've got a separate budget that prioritizes that we're going to fund education first and use that as the priority, and then we'll start working on the rest of the budget. Again, we ran that issue as a rule amendment. That also, sorry to say, went down in a partisan vote, which was very disappointing for me. Probably one of the high points, and I think this is a biggie, especially for our district. If you're traveling from the 39th District down to Olympia, it's probably going to take you anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours one way for you to come down if you were interested in testifying on any bill that we might be having a public hearing on. Every year we have dozens, if not hundreds, of people from our district that make that trek all the way down here to Olympia to testify on a bill, only to find out once they get there that they're given 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds to testify. Not fair when, before they actually have that opportunity to testify, the bureaucrats and lobbyists that actually live down here and operate out of here were given several minutes to testify ahead of them. So the rule change that we did pass, and it did go out unanimously, bipartisan, every single person voted for it, was we're going to put the citizens of the state in front of the bureaucrats and the lobbyists that are down here and make sure that we're getting that input from our local folks first. And if there's time left over, well, then we'll leave whatever limited time there is to the lobbyists and the bureaucrats. We want their input on it as well. But the priority needs to go to those citizens out there that have sent us down here to represent them. And we invite you down anytime to come and deal with those, to have that personal frontline input on whatever those issues are that are going on in our districts. There's other issues that I could talk about too, and I'm going to get more into the details on those issues and follow-up updates that we do down here. But I just want to encourage you that for me to represent you well, I need to, like I was talking about in that last rule that was approved, I need your input. I need to know what's going on back home. I need to know that the decisions we're making down here in Olympia, if they're adversely affecting you, in a negative way, I need to know. If there are things that you see that, Dan, you need to do this because this would have a great positive effect on our district and the state for that matter, I appreciate your input on those things, especially, I come down here from my own private world perspective. I may be good at what I know, but there's a lot of things I don't know. And I rely heavily on the public to educate me as best as they can so that I can make the best educated decision on your behalf while I'm down here in Olympia. Please don't hesitate to contact me in the future. All my contact information is there for you on your screen. I'll look forward to talking to you more. We're going to be here through at least April. And so I've got a lot of things I'm sure we'll talk about. Again, thank you so much. I'm Dan-Kristiansen, your state representative, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Take care now.